Hi there, and thank you so much for checking out this bujo video. So August bullet journal already. 2023 is just racing by, and this will be my last spread in this journal. I've managed to fit it in with just one page to spare, and I'll be opening a new one in September, which I am super excited about because who doesn't love a brand new journal? Anyway, that's in the future. In the here and now, I am doing my August design, and this month the country I am taking inspiration from is France. If you've seen any of my videos this year, you will have seen that each spread has been inspired by a different country. This time is the turn of France, and I am focusing particularly on French pâtisserie. Now, I had this theme written down for ages, but kept avoiding it because I thought it was a bit basic and had been done a lot already, but I've got to say I really love how this turned out. So you can see I've already made a little pink menu card with the calendar on it, and I'm building up a little collage around the edges. I've got some stickers and washi, and I've also found this newspaper style craft paper in my stash of supplies, and it's actually in French, which is pretty cool. The colour scheme for this is very warm and pinky peachy, which I think goes with the dessert theme and is sort of reflective of the romantic connotations with France, particularly Paris. So as I've done with some of my other videos, I'm going to throw some facts in there about my chosen country. So France is the largest country in Western Europe. It borders a lot of other countries actually, Belgium, Luxembourg, Germany, Switzerland, Italy, Monaco, Andorra and Spain. It is famous for many things, obviously its cuisine and pâtisserie. The Tour de France, which is a big cycling race if you haven't heard of it before. Apparently there are over 400 different types of cheeses made in France, probably the most famous being Brie and Camembert. There are lots of vineyards in France producing a huge amount of wine and exporting all over the world. And of course, there is the infamous champagne. I had a specific style in mind for my patisserie illustrations, so I decided to make stickers to layer on top of my collage areas. I sketched them all out on some matte paper and then went over the lines very neatly with a 0.05 nib black fine line pen. I've included some croissants, some macarons, some fruit tarts, some chocolate eclairs, pain au raisin, I can never say this one, but millefeuille, which is the rectangle one, and a religieuse, which is the round one with the smaller bun on top of it. And this one apparently represents a mitre, which is a traditional headdress worn by bishops in the Christian church. Then after that was done, I coloured them in with some pencils. I was thinking about using markers, but I didn't really have the colours that I needed, and I don't know why, but whenever I use markers I kind of feel like it ends up looking like a kid's colouring book. I just don't seem to have the knack for making it look more adult, I guess. But anyway, I am really happy with how they look. My favourite is the little tarte au citron, the lemon slice, and it just looks so cute. I think some of the things I've drawn aren't actually French, like the croissant is actually Austrian, I think, but they are very synonymous with France, so I've just included all the things I associate with France. So apologies if they're not actually French. So then I cut out the ones I wanted to use for the front page and arranged them as part of the collage, overlapping the edges of the menu card just a little bit. France is also very well known for art. Of course, there is the Louvre in Paris, housing the Mona Lisa, and there are many French painters such as Monet, Renoir, Degas and Cézanne. The Impressionism art style was developed in France around the 1860s. It involved painting subjects quickly in outside spaces rather than in studios. This enabled the artist to observe light and colour in different ways and led to the style being known for visible brushstrokes and dabs of colour, representing momentary changes of light. It was actually given the term Impressionism as a bit of an insult, as the artwork just gave the impression of the subject rather than the very detailed pieces that were expected at the time. Okay, so onto the calendar page, and this time I tried something a bit different for me. I'm using strips of paper to mark out my calendar rather than drawing a grid. I did want it to be a plain pink, but this paper had a leafy pattern on the back which showed through, but I think it actually looks kind of cool. And I brought some roller tape with me to stick all this down because it's so awkward to do it with a glue stick. But I put it down on the table and I heard it drop off, and then I just could not find it anywhere. It just disappeared, like it entered another dimension or something. So I have to go buy a new one now. When it was all stuck down, I drew vertical lines to mark out each day and added the numbers. I tried a different style of lettering this time and went for something a bit curly and over the top because that kind of felt like French cuisine to me. I added another little collage area to the top of the page and some more of my stickers. To the right of the page, I drew some more dessert straight onto the journal because I wasn't layering this part, so it seemed pointless to make more stickers when I could just draw them straight onto white paper. I have been lucky enough to travel to France and sampled the cuisine, which I can attest is superb, especially the macaron. The capital city, Paris, is really beautiful, so much amazing ornate architecture. And I knew the Eiffel Tower was big, but it was bigger than I was expecting for some reason. It's very impressive and it looks amazing when lit up at night. Sacré-Cœur was also really beautiful, another one of my favourite spots, and it just has this amazing view over the city. Again, it's lit up at night and it just has such a lovely vibe, it's just really nice there. I studied French when I was in school, but I haven't really done any of it for a long time, so when I went there I was pleasantly surprised about how much I remembered. So I could read signs and menus and ask for things in shops. I was kind of proud of myself, but I absolutely could not hold a conversation in French. My next page is for habits and trackers, and this was a page I missed last month. If you saw the video, then you might remember that I used ChatGPT to design it, and it didn't give me a plant watering or yoga tracker, which is part of my usual setup. And I can go without the yoga tracker, but my plant watering tracker is actually really useful, especially in the summer when it's a lot warmer and they need water more often. So I marked all my boxes out with that really small fine line nib again and went for rounded corners to keep the design feeling soft, if that makes any sense. My plant watering and yoga tracker takes up most of the space, and I add 4 grids to the right to track some other habits. I used some pink brush pens to add a pop of colour while keeping to the theme. I would really love to travel to France again sometime. I would just like to see the sights in Paris again and just soak up the atmosphere there. Something I didn't get to when I was there before was the Palace of Versailles, which isn't too far from Paris, so yeah, I would really love to see that. I would love to see Mont Saint-Michel, which is this amazing abbey perched on an outcrop of rock in a bay in the Normandy region. I have briefly visited Nice on the south coast, which was lovely, but I didn't get much of a chance to explore. I did manage to hire a bike and cycled some of the coastline, but I would love to stay longer and see more of the area and the Côte d'Azur. The next spread kind of lumps everything else together. So I start off with a to-do list on the left. This was something else that ChatGPT didn't give me last month, and is actually really vital to me because I am one of those people who will not remember a task if it is not written down. So I did that and then drew out my weekly spread. I'm using an 8-box layout with the rounded corners again. I've got the 7 days of the week and a small notes section to jot anything extra down in. This month I'm going for Dutch door weeklies, so just cutting around the boxes to leave flaps in the middle. It's really tricky to cut down the centre neatly, but it doesn't turn out too bad this time. I tried to do washi tabs, but I kind of screwed up the spacing and I didn't make them big enough anyway, so I just ended up cutting them off. I never seem to do tabs very well, but I love it when other people do it, so I think I just need to keep trying and see if I can find the secret. After I'd drawn and cut out the whole month, I did the back page. Behind the flaps I drew a box for gratitude. Then I mirrored the to-do list on the right side for a memory section. And again, this was one missing from the last month, and I actually had a few things I wanted to write about, so I had to do them on the weekly pages. The gratitude page can be good for memories too, but sometimes I need more than one line to capture everything I want. So there we go, a French patisserie inspired bujo spread. Like I said at the beginning, I actually really like this a lot more than I was expecting. And I really love all my little illustrations, they're just so neat and cute. And I love any opportunity to use all my crafty supplies and make little collages. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, I would really appreciate a like or a comment, and please do subscribe if you would like to see more of my arts and crafts and bujos. Thanks so much for watching, bye!